You know what fascinates me? The way something as universal as ordering food becomes this intricate dance of cultural understanding when you're learning a new language. Today, we're exploring how a simple restaurant interaction can reveal so much about human connection.
That's such an interesting perspective. And you know what's remarkable? Studies show that restaurant vocabulary is among the top 5 most requested language learning topics globally.
Well, it makes perfect sense when you think about it. I was just reading about how the average person will have over 100,000 restaurant interactions in their lifetime. That's a lot of opportunities for either connection or confusion.
Speaking of confusion, I still remember my first attempt at ordering food in Tokyo. I accidentally ordered 6 plates of something I couldn't even identify.
That reminds me of something fascinating in the research. Apparently, 67% of language learners report feeling anxiety specifically about restaurant interactions, more than about giving presentations or making phone calls.
Oh wow, that's higher than I would have expected. What do you think makes restaurant interactions particularly stressful?
Well, it's this perfect storm of time pressure, public performance, and the basic human need to eat. Plus, there's this fascinating cultural layer where different societies have completely different expectations about restaurant etiquette.
That's exactly what makes this topic so relevant. You know, I've noticed how the teaching approach here breaks down these interactions into manageable pieces.
Right. And what's really clever is how they've identified these universal phrases that work across different types of restaurants. Like the way "I'll have" has become this sort of global standard for ordering.
The psychology behind that phrase choice is actually quite interesting. It's more indirect and polite than saying "I want," which can sound demanding in English.
You know what's fascinating? In my experience teaching English abroad, I've noticed how these seemingly simple phrases carry so much cultural weight. Like how in some cultures, it's perfectly normal to say, "Give me the menu," a direct translation that would sound quite rude in English.
That brings up an interesting point about cultural competency. How do you teach someone not just the words, but the entire social context?
Well, that's where this methodical approach really shines. They're not just teaching vocabulary. They're teaching what we call pragmatic competence. It's about understanding when to use certain phrases and why.
The way they break down those key phrases and provide multiple contexts really helps build that understanding. Like how "would you like" can be used in so many different situations.
Exactly. And here's something interesting. Research shows that learners who master these formulaic expressions early on show a 40% higher rate of successful real-world interactions.
That's a significant difference. I suppose it's because these phrases act as ready-made tools for common situations.
Well, think about it like this. When you're learning to drive, you don't start by designing a car. You learn the standard controls that every car has. These phrases are like those standard controls for navigation through social situations.
That's such a clever analogy. And I noticed they emphasize practicing both sides of the conversation, both customer and server roles.
You know what's particularly effective about that approach? It helps learners understand the entire conversation flow, including those crucial moments of decision-making and response.
The timing element is crucial too, isn't it? In real restaurant situations, you often need to process information and respond quickly.
Absolutely right. And that's where their emphasis on short, practical responses comes in. They're teaching what linguists call chunks, these prefabricated pieces of language that you can pull out when needed.
Like those polite responses, "Yes, please," and "No, thank you." They seem so simple, but they're essential building blocks of natural conversation.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode of the Professor English podcast. Remember, fluency isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every time you practice, every time you listen, you're one step closer to thinking naturally in English.
Exactly. And if you found today's conversation helpful, take a moment to share it with a friend who's also learning English. Learning together makes it so much more enjoyable.
Don't forget to like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new lesson.
And if you'd like to practice what you learned today, check out the links in the description. We've got vocabulary lists, transcripts, and a few fun challenges waiting for you.
Thanks again for joining us. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep speaking with confidence. This is the Professor English podcast,
where learning meets conversation.